Welcome back, everyone. The resumption of round 25 here in the West. Mount Druitt Town Rangers and APIA Leichhardt kicking off some 22 hours later. It's still just as much feeling and importance in this one. Will Constantinidis' voice is changing on a Sunday for you. Stu Dolan here to bring you the remaining 74 of the coverage here in Edmonton. We'll remind you of the team sheets as this takes place alongside three other massive games in the NPL Men's New South Wales this Sunday afternoon. But for now, let's focus on the Moronazuri's attack here as Farinella, Fong and Stewart make something happen down the right. Back to Maxim Kasalovic just in the middle of the field. They'll be looking to control things right from the very restart here, APIA. Now another day of recovery lost before Melbourne City come to visit in the Australia Cup round of 32 in the week. Every moment as vital as every point in the table for APIA and indeed Mount Druitt Town Rangers, who will be happy with the results elsewhere last night and the chance to regroup, recover and keep it in mind for this one. They get their first touches since the restart now for Yuto Morita, who looks wide to Trajanowski, who's not going to beat Sean Simmons there. So indeed, let's take this opportunity. Mount Druitt, they start with Dylan Niski in goals, of course, as expected. Alex Trajanowski, Danilo Montero, Jared Massarola playing in a bit of a Mount Druitt APIA derby. Yuto Morita, as aforementioned, Rocco Pellet as well, Abraham Majok, Caleb Jackson-Brown, Stefan Stanic-Floody as well, Yuta Kimura and Bilal Belkadi to complete their 11. Same as yesterday. No changes allowed from that side that started yesterday afternoon before. We should probably mention the floodlights went down. That's the reason we're bringing this to you on a Sunday instead. As for APIA Leichhardt, Patrick Flotman, as we go in numerical order, is the first one at number 6, replacing Anthony Sparacino from earlier in the season in that number, with his inclusion in the mid-season window. Jack Stewart, Joel Bertolicio, the goal-scoring phenom that we're seeing, try and apply pressure to Massarola now, Presley Ortiz. Then it's Rory Jordan, Sean Simmons playing the skipper role today, Eddie Kaspers, Cameron Fong, Maxim Kasalovic, Oliver Kalatz in goal at number 80, and Franco Farinella to round off Franco Parisi's 11. Here is Ortiz on the turn, looking inside. He's not going to find anyone bar Kimura. Belkadi with a chance to calm things down now as well. Stanic Flody's got an acreage of space here before Cameron Fong can apply pressure down the left. A chance to look in the middle now and control things. Those shouts you hear are from games going on behind us on the synthetic field here at Popondetta Park. NPL Women's New South Wales action, of course, today as originally scheduled. MacArthur Rams come to visit later on. I believe it's the 23s up and running as we stand. 5 o'clock that one kicks off. So if you're in the area, come down for a double header. If you're not, thank you for joining us on the coverage here on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. And apologies again for the delay in bringing you this one. Here they come now, the hosts, Mount Druitt. Jackson Brown looking to feed anyone but Sean Simmons through. In fact, it was Abraham Majok who was best placed to get on the end of that, but the APIA defence standing firm. Jackson Brown has it again though, nutmegs Farinella, but Eddie Kaspers comes away with it, and there's a darting run from Rory Jordan if he can be found, but the whistle blows before he can get to it. As for the whistleblowers, it's Rowan Fisher with Aaron Bloch, Lucy Hungerford and Andres Castro are our match officials this afternoon. As once again Sean Simmons wins out in the back line. Some touches for Oliver Kalatz to try and clear it. Eddie Kaspers turns a lovely Trivella out to Jack Stewart, and this is where they can be dangerous in transition. Heavy touch from Jack Stewart, but instead it's perfectly placed for Presley Ortiz to run on the end of a ball through. Little nutmeg. Might have been the option there, but instead he goes to try and play it back to Cameron Fong, and Jack Stewart's ball on that occasion is a bit more untoward than the last. For Mount Druitt Town Rangers, it's the first time this season they've gone 2 or more games without a loss. They'll be hoping that that's big momentum. There's these massive last few rounds of the relegation fight and the tail at the bottom end of the NPL men's New South Wales table. Where, as I mentioned before, every point is crucial. Lovely bit of work there for Belcarty to try and get away from Sean Simmons with the help of Ibrahim Majok around him, but neither able to do so. He will gain a foul on the end of this though. As mentioned, the confidence, you'd hope, is up. Change in coaching personnel, of course, in those last few weeks. Ben Rollison coming in, and, well, it's been only one loss in the last 5 games since he came in the middle of that patch against Sydney FC. And if Will failed to mention it yesterday, I most definitely will make up for it. What a win last week against Sydney Olympic. I'm sure he didn't. They'll be looking to surprise an inner western side just as much today. They won't do so with offside flags going up though. APIA will regain possession off the dead ball. Here's Sean Simmons. Kasalovic to Bertolicio. Playing around the back, APIA. They've got to be careful here. Patrick Flotman, a seasoned pro, with a comforting touch to Oliver Kalatz. But now we find it in the middle of the park, and Stanic Flood's going to look to make some space there. One of the plethora of mid-season signings from Mount Druitt. It's APIA's season pros that come away with it though on this occasion. Ortiz down the right. Stanic Flood does well, stands firm, and will win out. No call from Rowan Fisher, so play goes on as normal. Stewart looking backwards, but he's only found a yellow shirt. Space now for Caleb Jackson-Brown if he can get past Maxim Kasalovic, which he hasn't. And Rowan Fisher calls it the other way. The Moron Azuri will benefit from the ball going out of touch. Fong for Stewart. There's a rather a low head than a high foot from Presley Ortiz, but so Fisher says play continues as normal again. Much of the complaints though of Mount Druitt Town Rangers, Dylan Iskich telling them to get on with it. Flotman wins out, as does Kasalovic, but Yuta Kimura trying to turn away as well, as is Majok. It's all a bit of hot potato in there in the middle at the minute. Bilal Belcarty's not going to win out either. Jack Stewart comes away with it again. That's Ortiz, Farinella, back to Cameron Fong. And those have been the most repeatable names as the ball comes down the right-hand channel a fair bit so far since the resumption. Maybe that's where APIA will be looking to penetrate. Known for their ability to make things happen so quickly in transition. Can they do so here after playing out through Bertolicio at the back? It's Sean Simmons. Rory Jordan. Intercepted, and Jackson-Brown can take it up. Potential offside flag there indeed is raised, preventing Yuto Morita from getting ahead. Three more games as originally scheduled for your 3 p.m. Sunday in the NPL Men's New South Wales as round 25 comes to a conclusion today. And what a round it's been. We've already seen some exciting matchups, not least one that benefits Mount Druitt Town Rangers with the Wanderers going down on Friday night. Back to the present action though as Jack Stewart floats one far to the far post. Rory Jordan touches it down, but Trajanowski's going to come away with it. He's going to look up to Yuto. And it goes to Jackson-Brown. Lovely turn. He's not going to win out over Maxim Kasalovic, though. As mentioned, those other 3 games, Central Coast Mariners are underway against Sydney FC Youth. 2 academies that'll be vying to make something happen there, that's for sure. The hosts definitely needing the points for different reasoning to Sydney FC. Elsewhere, Rockdale and Sydney United. A classic tale of the NPL Men's New South Wales underway at Illingdon. And to complete the set, it's St George versus Blacktown at Barton Park. But here at Popondetta, it is still 0-0, and we are finally resuming Saturday's fixture. Here's Yuta Kimura. Holds it up, waits for options. Instead, he's going to go to his back line. Rocco Pellet is going to look long to a great advancing run from Trajanowski, who has time to settle here. and to get past Rory Jordan, but he doesn't do so. The former Newcastle Jet stands firm. As mentioned before, the final match for APIA Leichhardt before Australia Cup action in the week against no less than the current Isuzu Ute A-League men's champions coming to town. Leichhardt Oval, the setting for a big one on Wednesday night. Melbourne City, the next opponent after Mount Druitt for the Maroon-Azzurri. Franco Parisi still knowing just how important league points are, and indeed to state up in the fight with the likes of Spirit, Marconi, Rockdale. The top four is tight, and a race that you definitely can't sacrifice anything else for. Farinella's going to win out on this one. Caspers, if you can play the reverse ball here, it's a lovely run from Jack Stewart. Mount Druitt have got to be careful here. They've got the advancement in numbers, but Stewart goes direct. Whistles above Delaniski's post, and he'll be grateful for that, because despite Mount Druitt, as mentioned, having the ascendancy of numbers in the box, it's Jack Stewart on the end of a ball with his right foot ready to pearl one. You can never be too careful. Standish Floody. Jackson Brown. Has he kept it in? Rowan Fisher says yes. Cameron Fong staying close to him though. Majok goes back to the aforementioned, who didn't look like he wanted to play it to Delaniski, but he has done under pressure. And they'll build up from the back again. Rocco Pele. To the right, it's another ball that goes over the top to Yuto Morita on this occasion. Rory Jordan and Maxim Kasalovic again winning out. Sean Simmons looking to take some pressure off and play a Flotman that's in a bit of space. It's a heavy touch from Jack Stewart, and Bilal Belkadi, if he can get the first touch here. It's an intriguing opening for Mount Druitt. Caleb Jackson Brown looks like he's going to have a ping, and does! Not too far away. Oliver Kalatz was nervous. Caleb Jackson Brown was confident. Something that Mount Druitt Town Rangers will need to continue if they are to put a big stake in the ground for these last few weeks of a relegation fight. They need to have pings, need to be confident in front of goal and make things happen. Elsewhere on the other side though, APIA attacking with intent. Jack Stewart again. Can he get past Standish Floody? He can. Tries to go for the far corner there. Eddie Caspers is going to win out from the ricochet. Still bobbling around the area. Mount Druitt unable to properly clear yet. Rowan Fisher isn't going to give them the chance to from a dead ball there, despite protests. Stewart keeps it alive. Goes again to Caspers, who has a flick. And as Farinella has a ping, it's a decision that's going to go against APIA. I believe it's Rocco Pelle that's just gathering himself up off the ground. Another mid-season signing from Manly United. Previously was at Mount Druitt as a youngster though. 6 years he spent here at Popondetta as a junior. Back in the yellow and green of the Town Rangers today. Managed to get through 65 minutes last week in that win against Olympic though with a yellow card. So again, we talk about those that have got to be confident and on their feet for the last few rounds of the season in this big fight that Mount Druitt are going to have to endure. You definitely don't want anyone to be missing out through suspensions in between in that mix. Fisher's just halted play here for a second as words between Sean Simmons, Abraham Majok and the surrounding pack are exchanged and extinguished. Back underway we are with the throw. Kasalovic tumbles after not winning out on that one. Not a header that went anywhere positive for APIA. Throw again reaches Simmons. And APIA will regroup. And I'm pleased to report, while it's a precautionary measure, while the sunlight is well and truly still out, the floodlights are on here at Popendetta Park, just in case. We did think we were getting cloudy grey skies earlier. That might make for a bit of a darker atmosphere, but at least we know they're working now. Here's Presley Ortiz. Holding off Pele and Stanic Floody, doing well to do so, but that's a ball that Mount Druitt will not benefit from at all. Eddie Caspers darts inside. Ortiz is there to help. Finds Farinella, but he's surrounded by Mount Druitt bodies. Now it's with Jordan. If he can wiggle a bit of space and have a ping, it's 1-0 APIA, but it isn't because it's gone the wrong side of the post only just. Backed himself there, Rory Jordan. You'd back him as well. Wriggling away. Any pocket of space, you try and fling a full boot at it. Got a good connection. Just indeed the wrong side of the post for APIA's liking. They won't have the first goal of the afternoon here at Popendetta. The first goal of the afternoon in NPL Men's New South Wales has been scored, though. It goes to Sydney FC away at Plum Park. "17 minutes gone there. The 11th minute is where the goal come from. Mount Druitt looking to replicate here, but not enough men forward in front of Cameron Fong to make it happen. Jack Stewart with a chance to turn and get away from Stanic Floody, but he's unsuccessful. The foul will go the way of the Rangers. Eight goals this season for Jack Stewart. He's a prolific goal scorer in this competition. But not as many as you'd think he would be happy with so far in this campaign. Looking for a strong last few rounds. Goals for APIA this season, mostly coming from Presley Ortiz, who, alongside Matthias McAllister, sit behind the inevitable Alek Jurasevski in the Golden Boot race. That one's going to be hard to catch up with Euro on 22. Utah with the ball in the middle. No Mount Druitt head meets it. There might be a deflection that benefits on the edge of the box. It's still around there with Eddie Caspers unable to clear. Oliver Callett is going to be forced out of his line to grab this one. Confirming the goal at Plum Park has come from Kalusic for Sydney. So 1-0 to the Sky Blues in the academy battle, with points absolutely vital there for the Mariners. Well, the 11 on the park know the job at hand. There's definitely going to be some Mount Druitt staff that will be watching that one with keen eyes. And indeed, Town Rangers fans, if you're hearing about it for the first time through this broadcast while watching this one, you're probably just as happy as those with an eye on both screens. Every goal matters, every point matters, every move in these last few rounds in the relegation fight. Mount Druitt won't be happy that they found themselves there again, but mid-season signings have added some confidence, and it's going to be a big off-season here at Popendetta Park, that's for sure. You just got to hope for their sake that it's in the NPL Men's New South Wales. Stanic Floody goes into a big contested one with Patrick Flotman, which Rowan Fisher has aided the former Kerry FC man in stopping play to see to him. Back up on his feet is the former Wanderers Academy, Sydney Academy man. Another one of the mid-season signings we mentioned. From Mount Druitt Town Rangers, coming back from a stint in Ireland, playing his football over there with Kerry FC, the aforementioned. But what can he do to aid Mount Druitt in these last few rounds of the season? Hopefully aid them in stopping this APIA attack. He is back keeping an eye on a Jack Stewart that's going to look to wriggle some space if he can be found by Rory Jordan here. Instead, it's Cameron Fong. There is Stewart, who lifts a ball into the middle. It's dangerous. It's not going to meet the head of Presley Ortiz, though. Stays in play, but not on an APIA feet. Now it is with Caspers. Simmons. Farinella back to Eddie Caspers. Patrick Flotman's got some space on the right. Stewart again. Can he deliver a ball just as sweet? He does. Ortiz almost on the end of that one. Arguably more dangerous than the last. But Dylan Iski across to it. Bertolicio winning out on the header there. As APIA will immediately look to break. Kasalovic has gone down groaning. And he will win the free kick. We're almost at the half-time break in the longest half of football you'll see in NPL Men's New South Wales. At least in recent memory, that's for sure. We've had a season with not too many games having to be called off due to lightning or rain or weather. We've been lucky this winter, but floodlights are a whole other issue by the looks of things. Here's Bertolicio. Could go alone here. He's got Presley Ortiz alongside him to help. Jack Stewart's going to win out on that one. Ahead of Stanic Floody, only for the first occasion. For the second, it's a good foot by the Druitt defender. Still with Stewart, looking for Ortiz, and that link-up is going to be crucial if they can get it right, APIA. They haven't yet so far. Majok. Jackson Brown's going to loose out to Flotman. Bertolicio. Now with Sean Simmons wearing the captain's armband again for APIA tonight. Kasalovic. Now Jack Stewart. The celebrations you can hear so far at Popondetta Park are on the field behind us where the women's 23s have scored. No luck yet though for either side here on the men's first field. They'll be hoping that changes off of this attack though. Yuta gets past Jack Stewart once, not twice, with Cameron Fong there to assist. Lovely bit of work there by Stewie. But again, a tussle in the middle of the field here. Hot potato again, Bilal Bilkardi going in with full strength, and they've managed to, no, they haven't managed to keep it in. A giggle from our centre referee, Rowan Fisher, because it looked like he had done. There's that confidence we mentioned from Mount Druitt, not afraid to pull out the tricks to try and make it happen. Is it going to be enough to hold APIA before the break here? Sean Simmons tries to get one into Presley Ortiz across the floor. It's unsuccessful with Rocco Pelle there to help. Simmons will go again from the throw. Pelle keeping up the tussle there as well in the middle of the park. It's Flotman now though. As APIA advance into the attacking half again. Fong to Stewart. Back into Fong. This is looking good for APIA here. At the edge of the box is Franco Farinella. Can't get a shot off before Mount Druitt deal with it. Calls for a foul there. Rowan Fisher saying the ball was what was won. He has stopped play though to check on, I believe, Caleb Jackson Brown, who hit the deck. APIA not too happy with the stoppage of play there. Everyone's all good though. Back up on his feet. Here's the Mount Druitt number 15. A drop ball for Flotman to restart. Bertolicio to Simmons. He thought was going to look to play one into the box. He's going to take it himself though. He's only going to run into traffic. Mount Druitt need numbers forward here. Majok can't do it all alone. He's shown the sideline immediately by Eddie Caspers. And APIA have the ball back. In fact, I tell a lie. Well, it did look like the hosts had won out on that one. The assistant's flag pointing towards Oliver Kalatz's goal, but APIA regain possession through the throw and lose it just as quickly. And win it back just as quickly. The hot potato continues here at Popondetta. Here's Rory Jordan. Stewart. Cameron Fong's on the overlap. Is he going to find him or go alone, Stewie? He does find him. Fong back to Stewart. Plenty to get through, though, if he's going to have a sighter of goal. Fong again. Stewart again. That's one bypassed. Not two, though. And another stoppage again. Fish is going to have a word with Ibrahim Majok here. Perhaps about something said after a decision. You'd be best placed to think. Niski will regather. Travelled midweek to Timor-Leste, did Dylan Niski, the Mount Druitt keeper, trying to finalise a citizenship rather. He's looking like he's set to be called up for qualifiers in Asia against the Philippines in October, so if all goes well, with both the call-up and the citizenship, good luck to him. Big shift to do here at club level between now and then, though, in securing first flight football for 2026. It's an interesting move from Trajanowski there to throw the ball into Franco Parisi. He's gotten a yellow card for it as the tempers begin to flare at Popondetta. Lots for the referees to think about here in terms of just making sure that the game doesn't reach boiling point before we've hit half time, if it is going to at all. Plenty more football still to come here in Mount Druitt. It's still the lone goal for Sydney FC across this afternoon's matches in the NPL men's, while the spectators get their thoughts involved. Bilal Belkadi with a talking to there to go alongside that for Trajanowski. Hopefully in not too long we'll see out the remainder of the first stanza, which faces more delay. Simmons with the throw for APIA. If you're just joining us, 0-0 as we approach the break finally in a match that 22 hours ago saw Mount Druitt Town Rangers and APIA Leichhardt meet at Popondetta Park. We've been at it from the 16th minute here in the resumption. No side yet to score, but APIA looking to change that right now. Farinella did well to jump out of the way of that one, knowing that Presley Ortiz was behind him applying pressure. It finds its way to Rory Jordan. Kasalovic gets it out of his feet. Now Simmons, lovely ball again finding Jordan, who holds it up at the edge of the box. Ortiz trips on it. And Mount Druitt again, they'll need numbers forward to help Majok here in the break. Just about finding them now. Masarola's there to help out the former APIA man. And you can see that the tension is well and truly there in this one, with the tackles flying in. Caspers finds some space. Now Stewart, he's going to go alone. It's only into a sea of bodies. Masarola sees that one. Down to a point enough to be able to settle and brew something for Mount Druitt. It's extinguished just as quickly, though, by APIA once again. Really haven't been able to get going. The hosts, where they definitely need to in this second half. Is Farinella. Diagonal ball to Stewart. And he can't control that one. The former Mount Druitt man. Yuto Morita with the help of Stanic Floody as Mount Druitt tried to break down the left, but unable to do so once again. They showed in performances like last week against Sydney Olympic that they can make it happen. Haven't been able to just yet, back on their home patch here. Bertolicio coming forward for APIA. Now Simmons to Ortiz. Holds up the defender well in Rocco Pella and gets away from him. Only for a split second though, as Pella continues to apply pressure. So we're into the additional minutes. The end of the first half here at Popendetta Park. Still taxing on some time, no doubt, from yesterday's stoppages, so I say, still plenty of football to come here in Sydney's West. Another goal to report around the grounds as Blacktown City have taken the lead away at St George Saints. 1-0 there for a side that is in that fight for the top 6 as well. Caspers tries to find Farinella, who is going to come away with it, and the whistle is not for a penalty, APIA fans, it's for an offside against the visiting Moronazuri. Franco Farinella immediately up to his feet and looking at Rowan Fisher, hoping that it was indeed a spot kick for APIA. But it was not, and we remain goalless at the break as the time taxed from the stoppages is complete, and we finally have an interval. Or at least one that we'd planned for, between Mount Druitt Town Rangers and APIA Leichhardt, who find themselves at 0-0 at the break. Welcome back to the second stanza of the action at Popendetta Park this afternoon. Finally into the final 45 of this one between Mount Druitt Town Rangers and APIA Leichhardt, who definitely don't need the floodlights now. The sun is shining here in the western suburbs of Sydney. Goalless at the break before Rowan Fisher gets us back underway. The only goals in today's NPL Men's New South Wales action coming so far, one at Central Coast versus Sydney FC, going to the latter. Sky Blues up 1-0. And elsewhere, St George, wow, we've been on a break. Turn things round. Blacktown led them 1-0 at Barton Park. It is now 2-1 to the hosting Saints. So St George looking to stay in control there in a big game in that part of the table. As for the top and the bottom, points just as vital here. The Rangers get us back underway, but Eddie Caspers has the ball. Franco Farinella played in beautifully by a chest down from Presley Ortiz there. It's in the middle of the park with Farinella looking for Stewart. He's found him. He'll have to get away from Kimura though. And Belcardi, who applied great pressure. And so the ball finds its way with the Apia back line. Into Caspers. Lovely ball over the top to Presley Ortiz. The whistle's not on this field, it's on field 2 for the women's game, so play continues here. Here's a whistle now against Apia. And if you're of a Mount Druitt persuasion, you'd probably be thinking it was overdue. So let's take this chance over the dead ball to run you back through the lineups, and things are just as they were announced yesterday. We continue, no substitutes just as of yet. On either side, for Mount Druitt Town Rangers, it's Dylan Niski in goals. The skipper, Alexander Trajanowski at the back with Danilo Montero. Jared Massarola, the former Apia man. I'll come back to this as Jack Stewart's away. And he's got Franco Farinella inside. It is indeed with Farinella. If he can bobble up and get a good touch in, which he can't. There was a real chance brewing for Apia there. But too many Mount Druitt bodies doing the defensive work to get back to it. We'll take this stoppage now while there is a Town Ranger on the floor. Figure out exactly who it is in a moment, but continuing with those lineups, Jared Massarola, as mentioned, the former Apia man, carries on the numerical starting 11 with Yuto Morita, one of the mid-season signings. He's recently played his football in Malta as well as Japan. Rocco Pele, another mid-season signing. Abraham Majok as well. Caleb Jackson-Brown, Stephen Stanic-Floody, Yuto Kimura and Bilal Belkadi. Complete the 11 for Mount Druitt. As for the visiting Marona Zuri, it's Oliver Kalatz remaining in goals, number 80. Patrick Flotman, the new signing at number 6. Jack Stewart, number 7. Joel Bertolicio, Presley Ortiz, Rory Jordan, Sean Simmons, the skipper. Eddie Caspers, Cameron Fong, Maxim Kasalovic and Franco Farinella. The bench for either side while we've still got this stoppage. Tep on the bench alongside Stefan Giglio for Mount Druitt. Lachlan Vasiliou, Thomas Lopez, Will Rankin and Shaden Sempel. And as for Apia, Anthony Bazanis, Seiya Kambayashi, Adrian Yachino, the usual skipper, Fabian Monge, Michael Kuda and Alex Demi to call upon. And the substitution might be needing to be made for Mount Druitt of someone to replace Montero, who actually is back on. Well, will be back on when he's allowed to by Rowan Fisher. He looked ginger, but he's back up on his feet. The substitutes will continue to warm up, but the number 3 for Mount Druitt is back on the field and on his feet. Tep looks to come away from it here. Actually, rather, Abraham Majok, my apologies, thought the substitute had been made at half-time. Sean Simmons. It's Rory Jordan. Casper's looking to turn away from trouble, as it's Jordan, but he's only hit it straight into Caleb Jackson-Brown, who himself finds the deck. Sean Simmons just bringing him back up to his feet there, so not too much to report of these early minutes in the second stanza so far, except for stoppages in play. As you rejoin us on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel, this live stream of round 25's continuation in Mount Druitt. Presley Ortiz looking to get ahead of Rocco Pele on that one, unable to. Now it's with Jordan, who just taps it away from Ortiz, and Trajanowski and Belkadi can win out on that one. is Monteiro. To Kimura, but APIA win out. Eddie Kasper's unable to get ahead of Ibrahim Majok. Trajanowski with a beautiful pull forward to Yuta Morita, who down the right has support now. Majok's there to help. In the middle looking for a 1-2 is Caleb Jackson-Brown. It's found the feet of Bilal Belkadi, who wriggles away from 1 and 2. Tries to find a ball in the middle. Kasalovic will clear it. Only as far as Rory Jordan on the very edge of the 18. Who's going to settle things and know that he's won the free kick, the throw-in rather, for APIA. Sean Simmons to Jordan. Kasalovic, little triangle there. They haven't managed to work it out of the original position of the throw-in just yet. Ortiz will try to do that now, getting away from Roccapello, but it's only going to be another throw. As the ball goes out off a Rangers defender again. Jordan back to Simmons, who looks long, and both Stewart and Presley Ortiz can get on the end of that, but the ball rather gets closer to our commentary position than either of the APIA attackers. Simmons with a long throw forward, which he'll have to replicate again from the sidelines, as Mount Druitt can only clear as far as the touchline once again. APIA looking to become assertive in this second half that they haven't been just yet. Kasalovic now with the throw. He's left it for the standing skipper and Sean Simmons. It will go again. Ortiz making great runs off the ball, and he's not going to be found though. And that one falls flat for APIA. So goalless here in a match where a point apiece really would not benefit either of these sides. Mount Druitt with a lot to fight for at the bottom of the table. APIA with a lot to fight for at the top, especially with the Marconi Stallions dropping points to Northwest Sydney Spirit, and in some style last night. Spirit, the other major contender, who now sit atop by 3 points. It's a different side in yellow that'll be looking to haunt the Moronazuri today. Here they come with Masarola. Out to Kimura. Just looks and holds up Cameron Fong, turns inside of him. He might go direct for goal here if given the chance. Instead he'll go to Bilal Belkadi. A horrible miss-swing. Same can be said for Trajanowski, but APIA failed to clear it. Sean Simmons still having the same trouble. And only just now he's found the touchline, much to the delight of Rocco Pellet, who will pick the ball up for the throw-in, no doubt. Big promising attack there for Mount Druitt, which they arguably should have done more with. They'll look to have another bite of the cherry immediately with Trajanowski over the throw-in. It's headed up and, unfortunately, aimlessly for Mount Druitt's liking from Caleb Jackson-Brown. They will get another throw, though. But no damage done as of yet from the possession that's been afforded to them. Eddie Kaspers gets ahead of that one. Again, a Ranger will win out though. Sean Simmons having to do the assertive hoof forward, as you'd expect from someone with NPL men's pedigree just like him. Knowing when to clear the danger finally. Being able to do so. A spin on the ball again for Yuta Kimura. Here's a promising one as well for Mount Druitt. It's Yuto Morita now finding a good passage forward, and Ibrahim Majok should have made it 1-0 without a shadow of a doubt, with a ball played to him at the penalty spot. That should have been the deadlock broken for the hosting Rangers. They've looked good the last couple of minutes, and that could have been it all finally coming to fruition for them. Blazed over the bar, though, from Ibrahim Majok. And returning to the Rangers. Played here in 2016, but returns with a much bigger CV. And while you could have had one down that end, it might be one down the other end. Indeed it is! Because Franco Farinella puts the visiting APIA ahead. From danger at one end to delight at the other, the number 99 for the travelling Moronazuri is the one that breaks the deadlock. Absorbed the last few minutes of pressure. Definitely got lucky with Majok hitting over the bar just before. But nothing at all to do with luck about the finish from Franco Farinella, who assertively puts APIA 1-0 up. Brilliant finish from the youngster. On the score sheet again for APIA. He's been here many a year now. He's had a fantastic season and lots of first grade minutes as APIA look young for the future. And look good for 3 points so far here. That could all change in just as quick of a flash, though. Mount Druitt looking to immediately reply. Majok. He'll be kicking himself after the spurned last effort. Unable to make amends immediately here. The ball's with Bertolicio, who has run himself out of play. Tried to play it off nonchalantly, but referee Rowan Fisher and his assistants noticing that one. So a big 3 points for APIA in this race for the top. Northwest Sydney Spirit still 3 points ahead by the looks of things, but as mentioned prior, indeed I'll repeat myself, every moment matters. And in a big week for APIA Leichhardt, points is the first thing they need, and knockout competition to back it up on Wednesday. A big test against Melbourne City at their Australian Championship home of Leichhardt Oval. The home of many cup sets and great days for the Maroon and Blue. Before then, they need to tie things up completely here. They'll look to do it right now with a second. Stewart with a heavy touch that Mount Druitt are going to benefit from. Jackson Brown. He's going to get the ball again here, and he's played off Majok. Now Mount Druitt have something brewing for them that could bear some good fruit. Yuto Kimura can't get away from his man on that occasion. They will, I believe, come away with a free kick, though. Indeed it will be. Not too far out from the edge of the box. Two Town Rangers standing over it, looking likely to take it. Stanic Fleddy, one of them. Yuto Kimura, the other one. Big moment here in Mount Druitt's search for an equaliser. After falling behind at the hands of Franco Farinella. Will they go direct? It's Yuto Kimura who will. Straight into the wall, though. Won't get a second bite of the cherry. Swing and a miss, as the ball's already worked its way back to Trajanowski. Sean Simmons rather steps on it and cleans up the work afterwards. And APIA again in an acre of space is Jack Stewart. If he can be found by Presley Ortiz, he's away here, which he is indeed. All he has to do is beat Dylan Iski, which he does. And APIA are 2 to the good. Far too much space afforded in the middle of the park as Mount Druitt were yet to get back into position after the attacking opportunity at the other end. Jack Stewart, the former Mount Druitt man, back amongst the goals at Popondetta Park. His 9th of the season for the Moronazuri. 2 goals to the good of Franco Parisi's men now. Done brilliantly in the one-on-one, as you'd expect. Zeleniski left flailing and unable to stop that one. And Mount Druitt immediately look to the bench, look for answers elsewhere. Changes include the inclusion of Will Rankin to proceedings. And I believe he's not the only one. I'll get confirmation as the sun beams down on Popadena Park. And the hosting Mount Druitt Town Rangers find themselves 2-0 down to APIA. Rankin with his first touch will be over a dead ball. Massarola looking to turn away from Farinella. They'll have to do it all over again. Roccapella is going to take the throw this time. In fact, no, he palms it off to Rankin again. And it looks like that streak, the first time this season that Mount Druitt have gone 2 or more games without a loss, is going to end here, unless they can conjure something up quickly. We've seen stranger things, but this is an APIA side that will be assertive with their lead, and it'll be hard pressed to throw it away. Just what they'd be looking for ahead of the midweek test. As mentioned, Melbourne City in the Australia Cup round of 32, the next opponent for APIA, which, well, is just about as big as it gets. They've done it before, the Marauders. Can they do it again? Back to present proceedings, though. Jack Stewart's away again. Cameron Fong's there on the overlap to help him. It's a brilliant tackle, but they're not going to win out Mount Druitt. Rory Jordan's at the end of the box. The Jock has it in the middle of the park, though, for Mount Druitt. Kasalovic gets a deft but delightful touch to play it across to Simmons. Rankin gets ahead of that one from Eddie Kaspers. Belcardi has the help of Caelan Jackson-Brown to get out of trouble here. But it's going to be hard for either to do so. Eddie Kaspers hits the deck, but Rowan Fisher says no doing. Rory Jordan with a beautiful interception there, perfectly placed, read the play well. Presley Ortiz, if he can turn onto his right here, he can make it 3-0 with a pop. He doesn't do so. Instead, Stewart plays it back to him, and it requires the best of Niski down low. Because that one, 2-touch passing, almost afforded APIA definitely a sealer here if they haven't already. Could still yet come, plenty of time left in this one. And with APIA playing with confidence like that, there's a reason that they are 2 to the good. Just like the conviction in the final touch on that occasion did Presley Ortiz. Looking for his 14th of the season. A fantastic season it's been. For the former Manly man, St George City as well. Kicked the ball about in Portugal with Sporting Lisbon for a while as well. A season to remember, and as mentioned, a young APIA side. Benefit from those in his age, the early 20s, like himself. Yeah, first goal scorer of the afternoon, Franco Farinella, Joel Bertolicio, Eddie Kaspers, just to name a few off the top of the tongue. One more set to come on here from the bench is Alex Denmead, who prepares himself alongside Michael Kuta. As APIA look to the bench just as Mount Druitt did a few moments ago. Here's Patrick Flotman. Goals flying in from Mount Druitt on the other field. They'll be hoping so soon on this one. As they come forward here, Yuto's tried to find a way through. Rankin! Great save, Kalatz. Rankin able to regather. He's got the help of Ibrahim Majok, but Farinella wins out. Almost close to halving the deficit was Yuto Morita. As APIA look to the bench, it's Alex Denmead entering the fray for the second goal scorer, Jack Stewart. Joel Bertolicio making way as well. That'll be the substitution for Michael Kuta. As the sun beams down and the wind as well, we apologise if it's affecting your broadcast experience at home. And if you're just joining us, it's APIA Leichhardt 2, Mount Druitt Town Rangers 0 in round 25. In a match with big implications at the top and bottom end of the table. Scores still as previously reported in the other games. No goal yet between Rockdale and Sydney United, 58. St George still up 2-1 to Blacktown. Central Coast down 1-0 to Sydney FC at home at Pluim Park. And that'll probably be the only silver lining in the cloud right now for Mount Druitt. We'll be seeing Central Coast Mariners down. Work to do for the home side. Can they do something off a corner here? They're going to get a second bite at it. Rocco Pelle's header only going into Maxim Kasalovic, I believe. There you go again. Again, it's an APIA head that meets it. Rory Jordan with the chance to clear. And Ben Rollison with his first real test in charge of the Mount Druitt Town Rangers. He's had a good last few weeks. Definitely knows the task at hand, ever present. But finding yourself 2-0 down at home to a side competing for the top spot. It's a hard task to turn around when you need to. What can they do in the final half hour or so here? Farinella looks to clear for APIA. Alex Denmead looking for a first touch of the afternoon. Unable to find it though. Instead it is. My apologies for the delay on this. A final confirmation of the second substitution for Mount Druitt. Thomas Lopez. It takes a touch there in the middle of the park. Might get another one here if he can win out against Cameron Fong. He can't. Denmead trips on the ball. Here's Kasalovic. Bertolicio. Back to Rocco Pelle for Mount Druitt. They'll build again from the back. Belcardi there. Massarola looking to turn. He's only ran into trouble with Eddie Caspers getting the final touch, and Presley Ortiz has a darting Rory Jordan ahead of him. It's deja vu here for the Mount Druitt backline. This time it's Rory Jordan, not Jack Stewart. Unable to be just as clinical as the former APIA goal scorer to make it 3. Belcardi looks to turn out in similar fashion, runs into Eddie Caspers. The ball's with Niski though, as Mount Druitt are safe on this occasion. But if they keep on giving APIA a sniff, perhaps only this occasion. Can't afford any more slips, Mount Druitt Town Rangers, not just tonight, but as a whole. Another double substitution coming for APIA Leichhardt here. It looks to be Seiya Kambayashi and the skipper Adrian Uccino that'll enter the fray in the latest window for the Maronazzurri, and Franco Parisi definitely looking ahead to Melbourne City on Wednesday. Rory Jordan gets a foot in there ahead of Rankin, and perhaps a chance for the substitutes to be made. Indeed they will be. Parisi looking to his Japanese juggernaut to secure 3 points for good in this one. Presley Ortiz runs to the sideline. I believe he's one of the substitutes, or he's just looking for a sip of water. Indeed the number 9 is off for APIA. Adrian Uccino and Kambayashi now on. The other substitute, Maxim Kasalovic, the former Central Coast Mariner, who is aiding his former side by putting APIA up alongside the rest of their pack here. Uccino with a first touch. It's an untoward dunk though. Simmons again forced to clear in proper hoof-it fashion. A foul there potentially from Rocco Pelle onto Alex Denmead. Not granted by Rowan Fisher. It's with Massarola. Looks diagonal, but only to Cameron Fong. And a first touch for Kambayashi there. Shouts of handball from the Mount Druitt bench, but Franco Ferranella's away here again, and Dylan Niski winning out on the field, but our linesmen had already halted proceedings, citing offside. Rocco Pele again. Massarola looks long this time. Uchino hits the deck. I don't think Rocco Pele likes that one. Apologies if the effects mic was loud on that one. Michael Kuda's first touch will come from a dead ball as well, as Rocco Pele continues his thoughts with Fisher the referee. Goal to report from Plum Park, and it's Sydney FC doubling their advantage there. So again, the only shining light for Mount Druitt is that they're not the only ones by the looks of things down that bottom pack that are dropping points today. So the fight stays as is between those two. Sutherland dropping points yesterday to add to the equation. Oliver Callis is going to have to come out and be assertive here. We might get a ball here near the camera if we're not careful, because he has gone straight for the touchlines with that one to clear danger. Rankin with the throw at the halfway point as we reach about the halfway point of the second half. Simmons with a rather AFL mark over Abraham Majok there. Nothing far too untoward, says Rowan Fisher, and a throw again for Rankin. That's where most of his touches of the football have come from. As Mount Druitt substitutes look for answers. Massarola plays across to Montero. Lots of pressure for Montero to deal with again. He looks for Massarola. Jordan once again reads the equation. Dylan Niski's got to get back into position here to take the touch. The pressure's on now, that's for sure, for the Town Rangers. APIA once again will look to the bench. It's the returnee from Melbourne Victory, Fabian Monge, who will get another appearance back in maroon and blue. He's been fantastic since he came back in the middle of the park for APIA. Another big shift needed for him in the week against A-League opposition. He's taken the year's experience with Melbourne Victory with him back to Lambert Park. Here's Belcardi looking to get away from his opposite number in Franco Farinella. Not too common, you can say that, with two number 99s in the middle of the park together. Massarola looking for Rankin in position. He gets past Sean Simmons. Jackson Brown in the middle of the park. He has looked lively, as always, for Mount Druitt. Lovely ball through to Majok, who I think has sprung the offside trap and done well. Fong's across to it, though. Calls that one's gone out. A lovely volley there from Utah, but I don't think it'll be counted as a legal part of play. I think the ball had already gone out. Goal kick is the call from Fisher, the referee. In fact, I think the mind's been changed there after consultation with the sideline officials. I think it's a corner again. Indeed, that is the final decision, and it's another one of those Mount Druitt substitutes that's going to take it. Shaden Sampao, who, my apologies, I think entered proceedings a little bit earlier. He springs one in there, though, but the header is nowhere near on target. And they'll stay goalless. the hosting Mount Druitt. Thomas Lopez unable to guide that one goalward. Well, it doesn't get any easier from here for Mount Druitt Town Rangers in the bid to stay up in the NPL Men's New South Wales. The derby away at Blacktown City at Landon Stadium next to follow on Sunday. Before 2 games on the bounce at home. 2 Australian Championship Foundation clubs come to visit at Popondetta Park. Wollongong Wolves first on the 9th of August and Sydney United 58 on the 16th. And who knows, by then we could know a little bit more about who's headed where in the bottom of the chasing pack. As for APIA, well, I've already given a fair bit of mention to where they're headed next in all competitions. But as for the league, it's Manly United at Lambert Park on Saturday. The women's team playing that exact same fixture in about 40 minutes time at Lambert. And that one with just as much meaning in that competition. So Farinella was the one that exited the park for Fabian Monge. A brilliant shift from the youngster. Another goal to add to his APIA tally. In what I say has been a brilliant season for the number 99. Still so much yet to ask of the APIA Starlets. Big few weeks inbound. As the race for silverware really heats up. Another substitution to report, this time for the hosts. Tep has entered. And I believe the Druitt substitution went off on the sideline closest to us. We'll have a look as soon as he makes himself known outside of our commentary box. As for now, Sampo can't win out against Patrick Flotman. It's Kambayashi, who hasn't had much to do just yet. Indeed, it's Bilal Belkadi we see now on the right touchline, just outside of your frame, that has made way. Big involvement from him, as you'd always expect in the middle of the park. Making himself known to attackers and defenders alike. Unable to have as much control as he would have liked on this one, as opposed to last week that Mount Druitt had against Sydney Olympic. Like it is not to be 2 on the bounce against Australian Championship opposition. Here's Tep. Timajok, Rory Jordan putting in great pressure, as is Fabian Monge, and Alex Denmead's going to win out this time. Holds it up and waits for those around him to catch up. Rocco Pelle putting in some great pressure as well, not letting him go. Driven right down to the APIA away bench. Winning out is Kambayashi though. Lovely think back towards Eddie Caspers, who lets it down for Cameron Fong. In the middle is Rory Jordan. Vital interception from Tep to keep the score at 2-0. Jordan has it again though. Not enough space to have a pop that time. Adrian Uccino. Sean Simmons verbalising that he can't see. I have to say I join him. It's Alex Denmead on the ball now. Can't get away from Massarola. In fact, he can. And the former teammates collide, and APIA will win out again from a set piece. Say Kambayashi to take the corner. How deadly those have been for APIA this season. Can it be again here to give further breathing room to the Moronozuri? A third goal here would add bountiful confidence. Cleared away by Lopez. Back to Rory Jordan. Lovely bit of skill to get away from the aforementioned Lopez. And again with surrounding Mount Druitt defenders. Plenty in there trying to make something happen. Eddie Caspers almost came away with it there. Tep clears. Yuta's there to help. That's Thomas Lopez. That one's a bit short, but Kambayashi can't get there first. Lovely dive by Adrian Uchino. Neither Majok or Simmons win out there. Simmons does now, though. And play will be halted. It's done very well there to get away from Majok, who I believe has picked up a yellow. Let's go around the grounds again quickly in the 61st minute. I can report that Blacktown have brought it back to 2-2 out at Barton Park. Down at the break after leading early. Back to 2 goals apiece in another massive game. And that yellow card for Majok, the last action that he'll be involved in. Precautions taken by Ben Rollison, and off he comes for Lachlan Vassiliou. He'll come on in his place to see this one out for the Rangers. Hopefully make an impact at least to halve the deficit and then add some momentum. But that's only if they can do so before APIA potentially add a third, which they're looking like they want to do here. No mercy, no rest for the wicked. No taking their foot off the pedal. I throw out all the football cliches. Long story short, they're looking to get the job done. Got to be careful here, Mount Druitt, as they play out from the back. Almost run straight into traffic in the name of Seiya Kambayashi there, but it's back with Dylan Iski now. As loud as ever is Adrian Uchino. That's the bellowing voice you can hear in the middle of the park. Nowhere near the ball, mind you. Making sure he makes his voice known to apply pressure, even when not in the position where the ball is. Icon of the game, icon of the league, one of many in this APIA squad still. As we mentioned, the mix between the youth and the experience. Timely header from Sean Simmons. And Michael Kuta applying pressure alongside Uchino as well. Eddie Kaspers. Oh, that one they've got to be more careful with APIA. Flotman leaving that for Kuta. And you trust the confidence of the former A-League man to do so. Very close to a careless giveaway. And Mount Druitt will be making the most of every chance they get at this point in the game. Massarola driving through the middle. It's ricocheted off of Kambayashi. It's only going to go back to the aforementioned Flotman. Jackson Brown's up on his feet here, but he's not looking to crash hot. Vassiliou looking to roll inside of Jordan and Simmons. He's done so, but he's only given it to Denmead in the process. Kambayashi holds it up well. Cameron Fong returns to his natural position of right back. Femian Monge. Kambayashi, lovely little triangle there, which Cameron Fong can't continue. That's with a lovely ball to Sean Simmons on the left. He's going to look into the middle to Rory Jordan, who, if he can hold off Tep, has a good chance here. Tep wins out. Niski with a hopeful one forward as APIA continue to apply the pressure in all areas of the park. This is the relentlessness, this is the continuation of energy that a side like APIA has, and they'll need for games like Wednesday, and indeed games like this in the league title race. Sean Simmons not happy with that one in the middle of the park, making sure Rowan Fisher knows about it. Alex Denmead's going to win out here. It's back with the aforementioned Simmons. Uchino, who despite being on the park still has the captain's armband on the arm of Sean Simmons. Ollie Callat's under a bit of pressure there. Kambayashi, lovely play from Fong to release him. Fong's made a darting run forward here. In the box, if Tep's not careful, was Alex Denmead. I won't say that careful's the right word used, because lots could have gone wrong with that one. Not least an APIA corner. He's fortunate that Seiya Kambayashi is walking towards the middle of the park and not looking to take it. Sean Simmons collects the ball. Actually, I tell a lie, that's just as dangerous for Mount Druitt. Fisher asking him to get a hurry on. As we enter the final bows of this one here at Popendetta Park. Finally, 22 hours later. But as mentioned from the get-go, still just as much meaning. Still just as much excitement from those around, wanting to see what both of these sides can conjure up in this latter stage of the season. Round 25. We're somehow already in. Lovely ball in it is indeed. Kuta wins out. His opposite number ranking's the one applying pressure, with a little bit of help now though from Rocco Pellet, who eventually clears. Jordan's hit the deck. He's rather frustrated about it, but the foul does go Mount Druitt's way. Thomas Lopez picking himself up off the canvas. Montero will take the set piece here. He's another of the mid-season signings. I feel like almost all this 11 is fresh faces from Mount Druitt. That's what they'd have been hoping for in the window, and they've done exactly that. Montero himself with a long list of clubs in Portugal in the 2nd and 3rd division, adding NPL New South Wales to his repertoire. Rory Jordan waits and gives this throw to Sean Simmons. Here's Kaspers. Done well with the help of Simmons to get away from Vasiliou. Again, it's a tussle between Alex Denmead and Tep Tep. The Rangers defender wins out, plays it back to Niski and receives it back from him here. 5 minutes to go, I believe. If my watch is not wrong here, it might be 4. Either way, it's not enough time for Mount Druitt, they'll be thinking. Time is very much against them here to make something happen, especially with the demand that APIA are playing. Lovely ball forward from Rory Jordan. Niski wins out ahead of Denmead there, but if they bring it up just as quick again, all's not lost in this attack for APIA. Kambayashi and Fong with the overlaps again. It's back to the Japanese number 2. Monge does well to give it back to Fong, and Fong's done even better to give it back to Eddie Kaspers, who's going to go alone here. Lovely save from Niski. Palmed out to the edge of the box. Rocco Pelle's going to clear. Looking for Yuta in the middle. He has found him. It's Yuta Morita trying to drive away from Cameron Fong. He looks wide to Vasiliou, the substitute. Sean Simmons applying pressure. There is an overlap to be careful of here. Diagonal ball comes forward. Caleb Jackson-Brown's best place to bring it down of any of the Mount Druitt players that, well, they're stuck creatively in these final stages. Would have been hoping for much more from that ball forward to the edge of the box. Sitting bottom coming into this one. Level on points with the Wanderers, fortunately losing to Manly United in a thriller on Friday evening. So, again, we mentioned the action all across the parks, just as benefiting for Mount Druitt, but I say benefiting, slim chance. APIA coming forward again, looking for a third. Kambayashi could provide it, if not for another vital interception. The block this time comes from Monteiro. Niski brings him back to his feet. A third goal to report at Plum Park. It's another one for Sydney FC. Sound like a broken record if I say that that's one of the only goods to come out of this one for Mount Druitt. Plenty to do in the final 4 rounds. They'll be tested next week at Landon, but before then, they've got to see it out against the side from Lambert, who will look to add a third. Back into the box from Simmons it goes. It might be too deep. Flotman gets a touch, but it might have been past the byline. Indeed, the linesman's flag signals as such. As I mentioned, a double header this afternoon at Popendetta Park. If you're in the area, come down. The girls are on. Shortly on the field just behind us, field 2, we'll see them take the MacArthur Rams. That's a big match with many implications in the NPL Women's New South Wales. As for now in the men's, Rory Jordan comes forward for APIA. Alex Denmead. Fong. Kambayashi. Denmead almost had it on the edge of the box. Jackson Brown gets there first. Pele with more space than he thought he had, I think. Now Kuta. Purposeful run through the middle. Now Fong. Back to Kuta. Lovely advancing run from the former Hakoa man. Into the mixer it goes. Denmead again unable to get onto it. Too far away from him. So the action rolls on this afternoon, not just here on the field behind us in the NPL Women's New South Wales. APIA's women's side in action as well at 5 o'clock. Manly United, they host at Lambert Park. Elsewhere, Illawarra Stingrays and Northern Tigers go head-to-head at Macedonia Park down in Berkeley. Sydney Uni and UNSW as well. And Gladesville Ravens and the Newcastle Jets at 5:10. But as the slate for round 25 in the men's competition is almost complete, it'll be points to APIA Leichhardt again. Points, it looks like, to St George FC as well, who have gone 3-2 up against Blacktown. So by the looks of things, if the scores remain, both sides heading into that local Blacktown City Council derby next week at Landon, off the back of losses. Tune into that one on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel, or get down to Gabby if you can, because that looks like it's going to be an enticing one with much meaning for both. It's Kambayashi to Monge. Now Denmead. Looking to get away from his man in Sempao. He's done so well. He's going to need some assistance though. Doesn't get it. Rankin plays back to Niski. Jordan's going to apply pressure, but Rankin's only going to get it back. Massarola. Lovely turn in the middle, which is going to lead to a foul. After Yuta Morita got away from Michael Kuta. Now Rankin as APIA backtrack. Kuta racing back into position here. As I say, it's that energy in the last moments that APIA will need to get him over the line in games like this. The aforementioned has it now and he's looking forward. Finds Caspers in the middle of the park. It's just behind him. If that was intentional, it's a beautiful touch. If not, it still managed to find those behind him. Uchino sprays it out to Kambayashi, and Cameron Fong has some brilliant space here. He's going to go alone. Over the bar it goes. Could have done more. The APIA number 24. But they'll be happy, Franco Parisi's men, with the shift out here on a weekend that demanded 2 trips out to Popendetta from them. Just what they'd have been hoping for before the midweek test aforementioned. Kambayashi looks to Denmead, who eventually gets it. Fabian Monge looks for the run of Rory Jordan, who goes first time, and Niski needs to be careful about where that one sprays up. Lovely effort from Rory Jordan, but once again, unable to beat the Rangers keeper. Looks like he'll go without a goal on this occasion, Rory Jordan, unless they can do it again just as quickly. But Rowan Fisher has looked at his watch, and that might be all she wrote. Denmead, Kambayashi. Denmead continues the run, isn't found. Rocco Pelle's foot is the only thing the ball finds there. Casper's just watching that one come into position for him. Rory Jordan might have another chance indeed here. He's cut back inside. Off it goes to Caspers. Great save again, Niski. Tep gets in the way that time. And that is the final action. Commanding result again for the Moronazuri of APIA Leichhardt, who will take with them into a massive game midweek with Melbourne City in the Australia Cup A 2-0 victory over a Mount Druitt Town Rangers side that sit rooted to the bottom of the NPL men's New South Wales ladder. Looking for answers in the final 4 rounds, they will. Results across the table, as mentioned throughout the broadcast, will add a little bit of benefit for them, and then it's not too far away. The fight will go on, though, across the board, and indeed for APIA at the top. Goals from Franco Farinella before Jack Stewart closed it off before calling it a day with a substitute. A rotational squad from APIA. Many substitutes making impacts. And Michael Cooter loudly says behind the APIA bench he loves winning. And APIA have been doing a fair bit of that this season. They'll be hoping to do more to keep up with North West Sydney Spirit and the rest of the pack at the top of the table. However this season ends, make sure you're watching, because it is not all said and done yet. We'll leave this one here from Popondetta Park, from the resumption of Mount Druitt Town Rangers versus APIA Leichhardt. With me, Jude Dolan, it's been a pleasure bringing this one to you. It's finished Mount Druitt 0, APIA 2.